Today we're joined by SJSU Online student and ambassador Silvana Espinosa Roman, who's going to discuss her experiences with transitioning from an in-person degree program to an online degree program. Thanks for chatting with me today, Silvana.
Having me here today.
Of course, always good to see you and chat with you. And so before we get into today's topic, as always, I'd like to just shine the spotlight on you and ask you to share a little bit about yourself and your background, and what are some of the few kind of significant moments that shaped who you are and led you to become an SJSU Online student and an ambassador for our program.
Well, I have always struggled with school. At school, I didn't really have a sense of direction of where I was going, and one of my passions is to help kids. And right now, I'm actually going to become a teacher. One of the other things that kind of, or greatly, like it did with many of us, was COVID and the pandemic. I think use that time to really reflect and think about what we want and don't want. And I just realized I needed to go back to school, and having that completion program was the best option for me.
Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing a little bit about your background. I'm sure that's something that so many people can relate to. Just really thinking about, I ask myself that question all the time, like, what is it that I want to do? Where do I want to go? What goals do I have for myself? And how do you get there, right? And so appreciate you just sharing, your background about thinking about what direction you wanted to go in, but then really reflecting upon what are the things that are really inspiring and motivating to you, and thinking about connecting with young people, supporting them, teaching them, helping them grow and develop, and then taking time, like you said, during the pandemic. I'm sure so many of us, had those periods of time where we were really reflecting on what was important to us and what we wanted to prioritize going forward. And it sounds like for you, part of that was completing your degree and using that to propel, your goals and be able to advance in the ways that you want to. So thanks for sharing that.
I think we all had nothing but time but to think. We had to just kind of be with our thoughts. We had no choice.
Yeah. Well, I think sometimes we could all use a little bit more time to, kind of be forced to, ponder and reflect and reprioritize and whatnot. So it was good to have some of that time too. So to get into today's topic, I wanted to have you discuss a little bit about your experience because you started out in an in-person program and have now transitioned to our 100% online program, to share a little bit of your insights around those experiences that you've had. So first, I was wondering if you can highlight some of the similarities and differences in your student experience as you've made that transition from an in-person program to an online program.
Right. So some of the similarities on campus and online is, I find that both formats, I'm always getting from SJSU about upcoming events or resources. What else? There, just a reminder to meet with certain people, guidance counselors, just important deadlines, that sort of thing. We're in that regard. I think it is important to keep in mind that it's the first full year that it's been doing this. They've been doing this. What other similarities? I think there's still the SJSU, school pride and spirit and everything. And another similarity too, I find, is the professors are very helpful, understanding. And then you said differences also, right? Well, in terms of differences, I've had experience from community college to San Jose State. Although I've had professors who have been very helpful, I think as this program, and I think I can speak for my other cohort, supportive. I feel like, the people in charge, they're on your team. they're there to help you. They want to see you get to help so much. That has helped me a lot. And I know it's helped many of my peers trying to get to the finish line. Like, always checking in on us, making sure, even if they notice that maybe there's a dip in grades, or if we reach out to the side factors going on that are affecting our school performance, they're there to in every way. And I can't be more grateful for it's really helping me at least to get to the end.
Wow, that's awesome to hear. I really appreciate you sharing your firsthand experiences with making that transition and what some of the similarities and differences have been, especially because I think those are the similarities and differences that we hope everyone will experience, especially for people who started out in an in-person program and are moving into an online program. You know, like you highlighted, we definitely want people to understand that they'll still be part of the SJSU campus community. So getting a lot of that critical information, like you mentioned, but also just feeling included in terms of being able to access different opportunities, resources, events, and whatnot that are happening at SJSU, even if you're accessing those things maybe from a distance. And then in terms of the difference that you noted, I mean, I think that's a really positive difference that we want people to experience is if they had maybe challenges or other obstacles previously, whether it came to commuting or just navigating the university or maybe not feeling as much support as they had before, knowing that if they transition into our SJSU online programs, that they will receive that level of support all the way from our enrollment counselors to the faculty to the academic advisors, so that we are really ensuring that we're doing as much as we can to help you get to the finish line and be able to move forward with your life. So thank you for sharing that. Along those same lines, I was wondering if you can highlight a couple of campus resources that you think would be helpful for students, because I think a lot of times people, when they imagine enrolling in a program online, that they maybe wouldn't be able to utilize the resources in the same way or at all because they're in an online program. So if there are a couple that you think would be helpful or have been helpful and you want to shine a spotlight on those, feel free to go for it.
Sure. So this, especially if it's the online program, professors do all the resources and the material for that course on Canvas. It really depends on the class structure, but from what I've seen, it's broken by any material we need, any links, any resources for that class. And so I know maybe some people are concerned about, oh, do we need to get, but everything is there. If you need to reach out to them on Canvas, through their inbox or email them. In terms of online resource, I think it's called the My SJSU. So there's all these other apps, and I think the Health Resource Center, the Wellness Center, Student Wellness Center, a lot too. And I think what's really important is advocating for yourself and asking need, whether that be for your class or something outside of class, or ask your professors, ask one of the guidance specialists of the program, and they'll be able to direct you for that.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate the balance of the different resources that you shared because I think we do want to highlight that there are these really thoughtful and robust kind of online resources available. So you mentioned like Canvas, for example, really wanting to have a consistent learning experience for students from their classroom experience and how they're accessing materials, engaging in some class discussions. Even most recently, our new student orientation will also be on Canvas. So that'll help orient students to that platform and orient them to the different resources and opportunities that'll be available to them, orient them to academic advising, all those really critical components before they even get started in their classes. And then I like how you balance that with some of the like really relational resources that are available on campus. So thinking about like the Student Wellness Center, for example, and reaching out and asking for support through the counseling services, or just reaching out and asking for support in general, like you mentioned, really advocating for yourself, communicating what your needs are, and what you have going on in your life, not just you specifically, but everyone who's enrolled in these programs. Of course, we understand that while you are students at SJSU Online, you of course have lives outside of that, and you're trying to balance a lot of things simultaneously. And so it's always important to make sure that, communicating your needs and priorities to your faculty, to the staff, so that we can all think about how to best support each one of you as you're going through your programs is really important.
Yes.
And then for the last question, I was wondering if you can just share any advice that you have for anyone who's considering completing their degree online as you're going through this experience yourself.
I think you have to be very honest with yourself on what you want is, because there's trade-offs. You go to school online, it's everything that comes school on campus, then it's everything that comes with that experience online. If you choose to do an online program online, and then there's flexibilities with both. What I like about this online program is I'm in a group of I'm in with a group who maybe we felt like, oh, we're than we're supposed to do, but that's not true. It's never a wrong time to complete it, and you want to finish it. But it's the online format, so you're in person. However, everybody's very supportive of each other to meet our goal together. But I think you need to be very honest with you and weigh out those options. And if you're ended it, complete your degree and get it, and maybe you have a lot going, maybe you can't afford to commute and be on a campus, and just know that you have a great support system to get you through to the, but be honest with yourself. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. Excuse me. I mean, I think it's so important, like you said, to really, I mean, kind of going back to your first response where you were introducing yourself, like really reflect upon where we're at in life, what our priorities are, what kind of flexibility do we have, what kind of needs do we have, and really thinking about the realities and, like you said, the trade-offs of what it would be like to enroll in a 100% online program, and really making that commitment to trying to reach the finish line and earning your degree. I think on one hand, while we of course want as many people as possible to be interested in our programs and to apply to our programs, we really want to make sure that this is a really good fit for everyone who is considering our programs and applying, and that it's really the right time in their life to be able to do that and make that work so that they can be successful and we can support them along that journey, because that's the whole goal, is for people to complete their degrees with us. So appreciate you just really being honest and transparent with everyone and sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Silvana, for sharing your insights about the value of SJSU Online, and for sharing your own firsthand experiences as you've gone through this transition from an in-person program to an online program. Thank you to everyone for watching. As always, please like this video, comment with any questions and feedback, and visit our website to learn more about our programs and how to get in contact with our enrollment team. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time.